What's good, y'all? J Boogie in full effect mode. Bun down is a sound. You know how we do. This is, of course, the Lounge Presents podcast. We are live streaming here on YouTube. And today in the lounge space, it is with great pleasure that we get to welcome these two that you see before you now. We have Clairvoy, we have Ciccio Spagnolo from SHEBAD. Hey!
Hi. Thanks for having us.
It is a pleasure. And we got to get our feet warm a little bit just before we went live. So we're just going to continue on from just before we went live. So let me ask you two, how were you first introduced to music?
Well, for me, I was in a classical piano originally and just absolutely hated it. And it wasn't until grade 7, so I guess I would have been 14, I overheard a music teacher at my school playing a Dave Brubeck song on a piano, and it just like perked my ears up so much. And it made me really curious about jazz and this other side of the world that wasn't classical. And around that same time, I went to see my first concert in my high school. It was just like a local band concert, and it totally like just opened my world to see that you could play with other people and not have it just be this alone journey. And so that's kind of when I feel like my relationship with music really began. Prior, it felt more like homework, more like something I just have to do, not really something I have a connection to. So yeah, around that time.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for myself, I think that my journey with music really started with my dad and the music he'd play around the house. So we would listen to a lot of Bon Jovi, a lot of Queen. And when I was pretty young, I had a CD player as well. And I just remember I had a Madonna CD, Confessions on a Dance Floor. And I just remember listening to that CD over and over again and performing alone in my living room. No one was allowed to watch me, and it was just being Madonna and dancing and singing. And I kind of soon after that was put into musical theater, which I think was a good move, and just loved being on stage since I was really young. In terms of singing, I was always really shy to perform alone. And so but my dad really saw that spark in me and started taking me to open mics when I was maybe 13, 14. And yeah, I was really resistant to it at first, but something in me still wanted to do it. So yeah, he kind of really encouraged me. And from there, I had my first vocal teacher when I was 16, and she set me up with my first band in high school. And that's when I learned that I wanted to play and be in bands, and I'm still doing it to this day. So yeah.
And how did the union that is SHEBAD come together?
Yeah, we met at the University of Guelph. I was in the music program, and Claire was in studio art. And I had a residency at this campus cafe called the Bullring. If you're from Guelph or you know anything in the area, it's pretty it's a spot for university kids to go. It's changed a lot over the years, but it's always had some big connection in the school. And I had this trio. We were playing just standards and stuff. And we said, oh, maybe we should get a singer up sometime. And so a friend of mine asked someone to come sing. And then I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll ask someone. And I remember seeing when I met Claire, because, you know, you meet the other artists and Guelph's not that big. So we met each other, and I took note and, connected and saw that she doesn't just make art, but she also sings. And I was like, oh, maybe Claire should come up. And I asked her to come for a song, and she came. And I think you sang "Fly Me to the Moon." I feel like that was just the classic singer, come up, we're playing the standards, "Fly Me to the Moon," and she just killed it. And the crowd was just like, what the? Because we're an instrumental band. You can't do that without a vocalist. So from then on, I think I just got really excited to try and do more with Claire. I was in another band at the time that was sort of hitting that stage in a band ship that was maybe are we going to do this or are we not? and we decided not to do it. And from there, I was like, oh, maybe me and Claire should start trying some stuff. I never really wrote before, and we got together, we wrote our first song, and it really showed how like we have very complementary skills, and how much, yeah, it was just like this beginning time of seeing how two people who are kind of coming from a place where neither of us really have any family that are musical, and we're really coming from it like totally green, but we're both very patient and willing to learn together and meet each other where we're not in our, able to. And from there it just kept going, and luckily it's just continued. So yeah, that's my idea of it. Claire, you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I think that we just caught each other at a really great time. We kind of met at the right time where, I had my high school band. We all went to different schools, kind of split up because of that. And I didn't really have anywhere to put my creative, like musical passion. And that's when I met Ciccio and everyone else. And it just felt super aligned and super resonant. Like we were just kind of on the same page with a lot of things, had a lot of similar musical influences and inspiration, and knew like we had a shared vision almost immediately of the kind of music we wanted to create. So that was really special. And I think we just saw, we kind of had the foresight, the prescience to be like, I feel like there's something really important here that we need to explore. And thank God we did, because it's just been an incredible journey so far, and feels like we're just getting started too. So I know it's corny to say, but it feels true. So
But the crazy thing is, I mean, it might sound corny, but that is your reality. Like that's the reality you're living. So I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Like whether it sounds corny or not, this happened when it did. I mean, obviously because that's when it was supposed to happen.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
totally. Yeah, we
Like
totally.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, both your paths led to this convergence. That's
Yeah.
exactly how it happened and how it's supposed to happen. So I totally get it. And it really seems, I mean, just based on what you've both shared about where it was coming from, I'm going to assume that both your families were far from surprised when you unveiled the band idea to both families.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Claire. How is your family?
I don't think, I mean, because I had already been in a band through high school, they were just kind of like, oh yeah, like makes
Yeah.
sense. But it surprised me more, I think, probably than them, because I was in school for visual arts, and I thought that was where my life was heading. That was kind of where I was putting all my eggs in that basket. And I didn't know if I would ever have another musical project with other people. I thought, I'll just keep kind of playing music for myself in my room. That's always kind of what I was doing. And so when I met Ciccio and everyone else, it was just kind of like, oh, like, took me a bit by surprise, but in this really, it was like an epic surprise to be like, oh, I get to do this again. I get another shot at this. And this time we actually get to write our own music, which I hadn't really explored before with other people. So yeah, it was just really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, like, I mean, I sort of chose music a bit as a rebellious thing to my parents, honestly. And I've had to take some space from them at times just because they're very particular. And I think we now are good. I'm happy music has kind of come full circle. It's been here through a lot of hard times in my life. And it also was the first time I had seen my parents in a long time was at a show. And it was really nice to like kind of show them that side of my spirit, because my family, again, is not very musical. They don't really get it. They don't really get a lot of it, and that's fine. And I really learned to accept that. But for a long time, it wasn't easy to accept that. And also, it wasn't easy to choose that every step of the way. And so, yeah, I'm grateful I did. I'm grateful we're here where we're at. And I'm grateful I have my family who supports me now. And they get vision a lot more, and they respect like, yeah, all the work it takes to do something like this. It isn't as simple as being a bassist. If you're going to run a project, like there's so much more. And I think that that window has really helped the non-musical people understand, you know, is just seeing how many moving parts it is when it's like everything you can imagine. It's a family, it's a business, it's a creative project, it's your ego, it's your spirit, it's like everything wrapped up into one little thing that you're choosing to spend your life on. So yeah, I think I'm grateful for that.
No, yeah, definitely. You bear facts to everything you pointed out. And Claire, thank you for properly pronouncing Chicho's name.
Oh, it happens all the time. No worries.
When I heard her say your name, I was like, oh damn, there it is.
I kind of thought you were gonna do that, and I was like, should I have corrected? Next time I'll put it in brackets. I'm gonna put in brackets the phonetic words.
No, that's, you know what? Both your experiences are very familiar to a lot of creatives and a lot of fellow artists.
Mhm.
Both of those experiences are, I mean, you know, it's kind of, you're coming from one or the other in most
Yeah,
cases.
kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what it's a piece of what helps us kind of gel together so well. Like we've always thought we were a bit of like a yin and yang. Like Ciccio and I's relationship has always kind of been this push and pull with each other. We're a Cancer and a Capricorn, which are opposite sides of the horoscope. So it's always just felt kind of like this balance that we have with each other. So yeah, I think that's really true though, that there's a lot of shared experience among a lot of the artists that we've met in that way of like where you come from and how you get to where you are. It's a lot of hard work either way, right? It's a lot of proving things to the people around you and but mostly proving things to yourself and strengthening your resilience through an industry that's really difficult to navigate. And there's not a lot of the way isn't exactly paved for you. You really kind of have to forge your way through as an independent artist these days. So we feel lucky to have each other to work through that together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You bring up a very good point, and I mean we talk about it on this podcast all the time, simply because it's the reality of this industry. It's impossible to get away from the fact that this is difficult. It really takes you know, a hardiness inside you to steel yourself for the path you're laying out for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
when you're coming up and you're trying to, you know, get the pieces together, you're trying to make everything, you know, coalesce. When did you know that SHEBAD was okay? This is it. This is what we're going with it, and we're going to call this SHEBAD. And this is who we're going to invite to be a part of this.
Yeah, Claire, do you want to answer?
Yeah, I think that we knew kind of like, I don't remember when we were like, we kind of made the decision of like, oh, this is SHEBAD, this is what it's going to be. But we knew kind of right away that we wanted to have a project together. And it started off, well, I mean, we started playing with some of our friends at the university, like Ciccio was saying, at these bi-weekly jazz jams. And that's kind of how we, you know, got our foot in the door with each other as artists. But when things really started to pick up, we were like, okay, we want to have a band. We want this to be what we're doing. That's when COVID hit. And so that kind of shut off a lot of those opportunities. And Ciccio and I were kind of like, well, we don't want to stop. Like we were just getting started of, you know, writing these songs together and playing some of our original music. We can't just stop. So the two of us kind of took it as an opportunity to learn how to record music, which is something that we had both always wanted to do. Neither of us had ever like sat in a DAW and made a recording of our own original music before. So we were like, let's try it. Let's learn together. And it was hard. It was hard not having any like support or really guidance through it. I mean, our friend Jack, who's the producer, is a high school friend of Ciccio, so they grew up together, and Ciccio kind of picked up from Jack, some of the basic skills of working recorded music, and he kind of taught me through those. But really, it was something that the two of us were navigating for the first time. And I think it was really through that process that, it was a really hard time on the planet, let alone, with each other, navigating what we were doing together, what we were creating, and how serious it was going to be. But we just fell in love with the process and fell in love with the songs that we were making so much that we were pretty locked in after that, of like, oh no, we're doing this for a long time. Like, this is there's some sort of magic in the air that we can't turn away from. And we just both have had and still have such a hunger and such a love for our inspirations, our heroes in music, that we just want to create something great, just something great, because we're just our souls are so fed by the music and the artists that we look up to, that we're like, how incredible would it be in this life to create something that others feel inspired enough to create music from what we've done. People look to us and say, I want to make music because I saw something that they did, or I heard something that they did that inspired me so much to learn something new. Like, that's just like, that's the coolest thing ever. And so I think that drive and that passion, it's just like a flame inside of you, that if you keep feeding that flame, you can keep feeding it, and you can keep feeding it. And we still are. So, yeah.
No, I hear that completely. Makes total sense. And you bring up COVID, and I mean, we don't have to repeat what COVID was, but it's crazy, because if I think about it, a lot of really good music came out of COVID, man. Like a lot in different genres. You know what I mean? Like, that were products of that in that period in time. So it's like, yeah, I know we got dealt like some crazy shit, but some beautiful art came out of that time too.
I think that's like one of the most incredible things is the limitations that we had. Like, sometimes limitations are your greatest strength, and that's the tools. Those are just the tools that you have. And honestly, our processes now isn't much different from how we started, which is, we work mostly out of home, like a home studio. That's how it's been from the start. So it feels like, yeah, like that's kind of how we learned. And that's, where we're growing from still, is working from this place of, who's the community around us that we have access to, that can support us in making this music and this art. Just looking around at our peers and being like, who's close and who can help, right? And what resources do we have immediately now? We don't need tens of thousands of dollars of studio equipment, and we don't need to have a sound engineer all the time. Every once in a while it's a luxury, but it really is about creating from what you have. And I think that's a beautiful, you always hear that in the art. And that's what makes music unique, is the approach that artists take with the tools that they have. So yeah, I definitely agree. It was a special, interesting time for music.
Yeah. Definitely. Now you had your debut EP. Was that recorded during the pandemic?
Our debut EP, yeah, it was.
Right.
Yeah.
That was Show Us It's Real.
Yeah.
Great job on that, by the way. That was the whole point to this whole pandemic thing, was one of the examples of great art that came out was from
Appreciate that.
SHEBAD. So salute. I got to give you this. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You mentioned influences. Who is who are some of the influences that have shaped both of you as artists?
There's a handful that I immediately think about. Stevie Wonder is a really big shared influence
Mm,
between the two of us. We just love him so much. One of the greatest of our generation, and he's
yes.
just incredible, incredible. Erica Badu, definitely.
Mm,
Daft Punk, we love. Um,
okay.
Hiatus Coyote.
Let's go. Hey.
Um, Yeah, just to name a few. I mean, Miss Lauryn Hill, Amy Winehouse. Now I'm going more of like my personal
Mm,
experiences vocally. But yeah, that's just to name a few. There are definitely more. Ciccio, I don't know if you have more top of mind.
Chicho.
Yeah, I mean, all the ones that we were kind of said, I know, I feel like I find influences all over the place in certain little niches too. But there's just so many people who I look to and listen to that are just finding a way to say what they're trying to say through music. And I appreciate, even if it's not necessarily how I want to sound, I just think all of music is like puzzle solving. There's a lot of puzzles. And just recently, I teach, and I've just been teaching this one kid a bunch of Rage Against the Machine songs. And I'm just listening to their
Uh-huh.
music, and I just find these influences everywhere. Even though I never really grew up with that music, I just hear how, like, you have to merge this. Like, I just respect all these artists so much where they're merging their intention with like
Yeah.
the sonic ability to get that through is not easy. Like it's not. It's just simply not. You could, so many of the Rage Against the Machine songs could have sounded so much worse if they didn't do it the way they did it, and they did it perfectly. And it's a mix of so many things. It's not just about the music. It's bigger than that. It's about how you live your life. It's about how you move through the world. It's about luck. It's about so much. And I just love. I feel like I'm very influenced by so many people I discover in all of the genres. I love hearing how they navigated it and what made them. How did I end up hearing them? Because somewhere along the line, they had a really good team that was helping them get in front of me, or they were so bright and so gifted, like Stevie, for example, that it was just. And I mean, Stevie has a great team as well, and all these amazing people that flocked to them to help find their sound. And I feel like, yeah, that's just when I think about influences. I know there's not too many specifics. I mean, one that I guess I'll say specifically really influenced me melodically is a Canadian pianist named Chili Gonzalez.
Okay.
He produced for Feist, and
Okay.
he's really incredible, and he just has a way of using his limitations on the piano to say so much. And I feel like I study that his works like so much to see like, okay, what a fine balance it is between rhythm and the notes he's chosen and the harmony he chose, because you only have 10 fingers and you're not going to play 10 notes at the same time. So how did he do that? And he's just incredible. And I just love hearing people he's a drummer originally who became a pianist. I think that's also what makes Hiatus Coyote so special is, they're all multi-instrumentalists. They're all
Yes.
curious about these different parts, and they found each other and they held on. I think that was a big, huge influence for us, is just seeing a band like Hiatus Coyote. We're never going to be them. We never want to try to be them. They're special and unique and bright. And how can we be that for ourselves? I think when Claire's saying, like, it feels like we're just getting started, it's like, yeah, I feel like we've done so much of the work to till the soil, figure it out, and we're still gonna keep doing that, and we're gonna keep trying things and finding things. But I feel like those are the types of people I'm really influenced by, the people who are like trying to be themselves in their way. That's really hard to do. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to salute both of you right now and tell you off top. I think everyone that you listed would enjoy the music that you are putting out in this world.
That's really I'd only hope, honestly. I'd only hope.
You know why? Because music at the end of the day is vibes, right?
Mhm.
We're all influenced by so many of the same people. and then it becomes cyclical, and it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. So it's impossible to not feel that vibe if it's genuine.
Mm.
And sounds that you two are able to produce with SHEBAD are most definitely genuine. So salute.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
I feel like as we grow, you know, you get not further, you find new areas of your genuine writing and your genuine like center that I think, yeah, it's just sweet to hear, I guess, and it's nice to that somebody feels our genuine center through the tunes that are, you know, older than they ever have been. They're like a few
Yeah.
years old now. Things that, you know, you start to drift away from it and you start to
Yeah.
like listen
Exactly.
again, and yeah, it's interesting.
Sometimes you just need a gentle reminder from an outside source that you put out some dope shit.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that very much, very much.
You do really get tunnel vision, like
Yeah, you do. You really do.
with your
Especially
own
if it's
music. Yeah.
especially if it was written a little further back because you're thinking forward. You're eyes on what you're currently working on. So it makes total sense. I like that there was also a stripped down version of the music is the answer. Was that always a plan, or was it something you decided on after the fact?
We had it in our mind, in the back of our minds. I think as we were making Music is the Answer, we're so proud of that album. I think that we worked so hard on it, and there were just moments through the actual production of some of the songs that we just felt like, I really love the way it is, but also there's just something about the magic of how it felt when it was just us and a guitar writing that song
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we feel is lost, and not even lost, just transformed into something
yeah,
different.
yeah.
For example, I really felt that with The Heart, for example, which I love that track, but the moment of Ciccio and I sitting on the porch writing that song, just vocals and guitar, was so magic, and we just
Yeah.
felt that like fire inside of like, oh my God, this is an amazing song. And we just kind of toyed with the idea of what if we released an acoustic version of some of the songs? Yeah, that would be cool. And then yeah, after, you know, the Stripped ended up coming out a year after the release of Music is the Answer. So we thought, you know, it would be cool to do something for the 1 year anniversary. And we're like, it's a great opportunity to just get together with some of our friends who can help us do this. And so yeah, we tried our hand at that. It was something, again, we'd never really done before. I feel like the past like year and a half has really just been us trying things, just trying different approaches that we hadn't before, and seeing how it landed within our spirits and with other people. And yeah, we wanted to try and capture these songs in their most raw form with the Stripped. So that was kind of the goal with it.
On the business side, it's great marketing too.
Thanks.
Well, because if people have never had the opportunity to experience you live, you most definitely can be appreciated in an intimate, small space as much as you can be appreciated on a larger festival stage. You translate so well between the two worlds that it just made sense to me that you did the stripped down version. That it's to me that was like perfect marketing, because what better way for people to experience the SHEBAD sound?
And I feel like that kind of ties into Inner Openings as well, and what we did with that.
Yes, which just dropped.
Yeah. And I think with that one, we had received that kind of feedback from a few different people, and we also felt it too of those two songs, Inner Rise and Open Yourself, have been super successful in a live setting. they're always crowd pleasers, you know, ones that people are like, that song was sick, and people are always dancing and like moshing and headbanging to those ones. But the original recordings didn't really translate in the same way. So we had always thought, ever since putting out Open Yourself on Shows That's Real, we're like, it'd be nice to like retry that one someday and try and convey more so of the energy of how we play it live. So yeah, similar to the Stripped, where we kind of had that seed of an idea of like wanting to retry it or like convey the core of the music in a different way. That's why we did it. And we also saw it as an opportunity to collaborate with some artists that we really love and respect. Anomaly and King Cruff, obviously, they're incredible. And we had just met them through just playing around in the Canadian music scene, and struck up a friendship. And we thought, you know, ever since playing with them, we were like, it'd be cool to do something with them. So this seemed like the perfect opportunity to do that. And these tracks, I feel like, had a lot of space that we could work with to give them, you know, here's your section for a feature, like try your hand, just go and try something over top of this space. And they both just absolutely killed it. So I think that, it's cool. It was another thing again of this year, just trying things we never tried before. We've never really outwardly, you know, collaborated with an artist in that way of like, here's the song, try something. And then we had never recorded something kind of more live off the floor. It's always been recording instrumentation separately and then kind of aligning it later on, rather than recording everything on the same day in the same studio space. So yeah, it was cool. It was a different approach.
Yeah. It was good it's really good learning. I feel like it was, like all those firsts were really awesome. And I think also, I mean, it was tricky for me sometimes to think like, because I sort of love the originals.
Where'd Ciccio go? Oh, there he is.
Emil called me. I don't know why. Anyways, I love those originals of those songs. So it felt kind of like, oh, how can we do, like, you know, I personally like those originals, but I get like we're doing this for more energy and this, and I feel like I'm grateful for the experience again, like renting out a studio. Never done that before in that way. We've rented out spaces to track drums and, you know, anything that you need, but never in a way of like, let's spend a weekend, we're going to build this together and we're going to, you know, try something new. And I think I'm grateful for those songs for being able to like hold it down in that way. And I almost am excited to let go of that. It almost feels like a, you know, training wheels where it's like, okay, well, we're going to do these songs. We already play them. We already know them. We're going to do it this way. But I almost think if we were to do something like that again, I'd almost want to go in with almost nothing written and like build it together in some ways, in some capacity, or slight things written and have it in a newness. And I feel like as we've released in our openings, I feel a lot of growth has come from that, just that piece. So I'm grateful that it's kind of our last mark on sort of things that we are bringing from our past, ending sort of eras, and I'm really looking forward to the next thing ahead. So
exactly. One thing that when I listen to the music, one question that comes in, that one of the first questions that popped up in my head was, when you're writing the music, do you write with the express purpose of making sure it translates well in a live setting, or do you just create and then worry about everything after the fact?
I think the latter, personally. I think more so.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I I don't think, I mean, it depends how the song begins. Because, for example, Black Walnut started with a bass line and a drum groove that Emmett and Ciccio made together. So it
I
kind
believe
of
that.
already existed in that space. Whereas a lot of the time it will be writing something and then kind of problem solving and puzzling together how to play it as a band. And sometimes even with Music is the Answer, like we would fully write and record the songs before we even played it with the band once, which we're trying to avoid this time around, because I feel like having the two kind of happen at the same time is positive. Like they positively influence each other of like, oh, I really love how we do that live. Let's try to record that. So I feel like that's kind of changing a little bit now, of like wanting the two to kind of grow together rather than completely separately and then trying to puzzle it out after. But it depends on the track. It really does. It just depends.
And this is another layer of like, I feel as we're getting deeper, older, growing into what it actually means to, one, survive the music industry, and also just be, I guess, like, you know, the next step of musicians. Like coming from the viewpoint of a university band, I am infinitely proud of what we've accomplished as our project. Coming from the point of these heroes we look at and the art they've made that's changed our world, I see that we have a lot of work to do, and in our own way to really define things and practice and hone our craft in a way that, frankly, I think the world kind of needs artists who are that dedicated to do that. Because, and not just us, I just mean any artist, because we're just in a time where, you know, art is abundant in a way that is like the difference between life-changing art and I mean, the stat is like 50% or more of the music that's being posted to Spotify every day is AI generated, and it's not even about the art. And so I do think it's like our role as artists, now that we've stepped into this light, now that we've put out shows it's real and we've been shown it's real, and that we've set our pieces in these really like heartfelt ways, it's like now I'm excited to be like, okay, it's there. We have the buzz enough to keep this sustainable. We have people who love our soul and get it and support us. Now, like, how do we just keep getting better? And I think part of that is exactly what you asked. Like, do we need to make the songs thinking about the live? I don't know. I don't have the answer right now, because we've never been where we're at. Like right now, it is that place where, okay, like, how are we going to do this? And I think I'm just grateful that we have, again, an amazing team of friends in our community. And I trust it all to understand, like, we're all in that together. None of us have a motive that isn't aligned. Like nobody's saying like, oh, we don't have time to do that, you have to just get ready to play it tomorrow. Like there's always a fine line between like pushing things back too far and having them happen right away, where it's like, okay, well, you don't want to wait too long because you're going to lose motivation, but also it's so easy to do that. And on this flip side, you don't want to rush anything. And so I think I'm grateful everybody is on board and gets that, like, we're really all trying to make the best art we can. We're trying to say that we're like literally like what we can. I want to emphasize that, like, because it's so impossible. There's no clear path. There isn't an end to a song in so many ways. I've often wished that you could patch. I wish you could patch songs like you patch like a video game or something. Like you just be like, oh, actually,
right? A new DLC.
Yeah, new DLC. Like, don't worry about it. The album was good, but like, wait, just gonna fix it a little bit. And it's like, well, no, you don't get to do that. So you got to find out how you do it, and you got to find the right people. And I feel like Claire and I learned very quickly, like, what can happen when you find the right people and when you find the right motivation. Like, it can click and you can fly. And I think we're just figuring that now, where it's like we're locking it in. We have a really solid vision for this next project that we're really excited for. And yeah, I think this Inner Openings has been that for me personally, like this opening to like, wow, holy smokes, I'm almost at the end of my 20s. It's a big deal. I never thought I'd make it this far. I did, but I didn't. And like, what does it mean to be an artist surviving in Canada? Like, what's my role? How do I want to step into that? And I'm excited to do it. And so I think I'm very grateful for what we've got, and I don't take it lightly that it is kind of it's like, it is exactly what Claire was saying earlier. It's like, it's a responsibility to motivate and to keep your head up and, you know, pass the torch down and yeah, do the work and the practice and stay grounded and keep yourself grounded. Because if it's all about money, you're done. If it's all about fame, you're done. If it's all about any of these things, so like we've defined it for ourselves, like what that is, you know. And you see so many big musicians are extremely religious, and I'm not personally, but I completely understand why that would be how you survive this. Is you need to look to God, and you need to look to faith, be like, I know I'm on my path. And I think for us, it is really this community bond that we have in Guelph and each other that is like holding us together. And I just want to keep leaning into that and discovering what that means and getting better at execution. And I think it's so cool that we get to. So I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm also glad that you touched on the fact that art cannot be rushed.
Yeah.
That's
Hard
just
lesson.
the bottom line. That's not how humans work.
No, it sucks sometimes.
You can't assembly line. Yeah, but you can't assembly line it. You know what I mean?
No. But also I have friends who have 1,000 unfinished songs. So that's like this fine line where it's like, okay, well, you got to finish something. Yeah, I'm grateful we never really had that problem. We're pretty good at knowing when something's done, genuinely. And we found that deadlines can be helpful, but also hurtful. And I'm grateful we're not the 1,000 unfinished songs band. We're very much, if something's resonating, we're going to get it done. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that next project because I know I wanted to finish by asking about that.
Okay.
So it's going to be ours.
I want to say quick, I'm at 6% battery. It's dying fast. So if I go, I'm sorry.
No
problem. Next project is going to be our second album. It's called Yonic Boom. We've already kind of dropped the title. It's going to be out in 2027. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's more kind of leaning into like more of a dance realm, which we love dance music. We've always wanted to try our hand at that.
Let's go.
Some of our best performing songs, live and streaming, have been Black Walnut, Inner Rise, these songs that are more kind of dance forward. And it's what we love to play. We just want to play shows where people are able to free themselves, to free their minds, free their bodies, and dance. So we wanted to try, and I feel like people need that right now. People need that space to be free and to dance with one another. And so, yeah, it's coming. Spring, summer 2027. It'll be out.
There will be singles before. There'll be singles out in 2026.
Of course.
So
just you got to keep whetting the appetite.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Black Walnut because God damn, that's a jam. Like that's
one of our favorites. Yeah.
That enters the DJ set regularly because you know, you just gotta know when to drop it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very blessed. We have that song. I love that song. So
yeah, definitely. Well, I'm looking forward to the release of that when it drops. I hope you will come back to help promote that record when it's ready to drop because we'd love to have you back on.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pleasure, Jay.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for having us.
No, thank you. Thank you for spending time with us in the lounge space. Please drop your socials. Let people know where to find you.
You can find us at SHEBAD Music on Instagram, Facebook, and then we're SHEBAD, all one word, across all streaming platforms. You can listen to our album. You can find us on YouTube. Bandcamp. Yeah, Bandcamp Fridays.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, follow along our journey if you dig. We have so much more planned, and we're so excited we're going to be playing all over the place as well this year. We've got some pretty awesome tours planned. So,
Dope.
you know, tell your friends, tell your fam, we'd love to see everyone at our shows because that's our favorite
Talk
part
to your booking agents. Come on.
Yeah.
Claire, Ciccio, thank you once again for spending time with us. Definitely look forward to having you back. We out of here. Peace.
Okay. Peace and love.
Bye. Thank you so much.